Evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Slasher Club, where there is no measure to terror and entertainment. Tonight, I will be doing, alone, the final movie of the Child's Play series, Cult of Chucky, a 2017 movie created, and it's one of the better ones, next to Curse and Bride. I may even have a little story about the reason why I wear this hat and what actually got me into horror or started me on this path. So let's get started. Basically the movie follows basically the same plot as the first movie. We follow Nica to her new residence, a mental hospital, run by a very weird doctor, nice staff, but we also get to follow our very first protagonist in the movie series, Andy Barclay, and his hunt for Chucky, and to save Nica since Chucky's still after her, because of the incident that happened years before. And we also learn the fate of Alice, Nica's niece. Well, partially. On to the crew, which consists of director Don Macchioni, producer David Kushner and Ogden Gavansky, writer Don Macchioni, music by Joseph Loduca, cinematography by Michael Marshall, and I guess we didn't put editing on this. That will be the next video, because I've decided we need to give a bit of credit to the editing, especially our editor Discord and myself, who have been working really hard to get the videos out. We have location. We're back to Winnipeg, Manitoba, Canada. Hello, I'm sorry. Good day or good night, my Canadian friends. We have the cast, which consists of Fiona Dorff, back as Nica Pierce, and funny thing, she actually does look like her father when he was young. Alex Vincent is back as Andy Barclay. We have Brad Dorff back as Chucky, Michael Terrell as Dr. Foley, Adam Hertig as Multiple Malcolm and Michael, Elizabeth Rosen as Madeline, who's also known for Sky in House of the Dead, and Miss Van Arendt in the ABCs of Death, a more modern horror movie compared to House of the Dead. We have Grace Lynn Kung as Claire, also known for Sasha in Cube 2, Hypercube. Wow, they really spent a lot of time thinking of that name. We have Martina Stephenson Kerr as Angela, Zach Santiago as Nurse Carlos, Alice Tatarin as Nurse Ashley, Jennifer Tilly is back as Tiffany Valentine, and her doll, Tiffany, which we'll get to later on. We have Summer H. Howell back as Alice Pierce, briefly, and Christine Ellis as Kyle. And sadly, you only get to see her in the unrated version, so sorry for all you who only watch the rated version. You're gonna have to find it on YouTube. On to the gore score, specially done by me. We have 10 deaths in this movie. Oh wait, not gore score, slasher stats. And it consists of 10 kills. Number 1, Alice, we don't really know. We don't even get to see or get an explanation, we just hear it from Tiffany. Number 2, Angela. Chucky slices her wrist with the barb of a wheelchair. We have Claire, who's decapitated by a piece of glass, similar to Bride of Chucky. We have Madeline, who loses her spine through her mouth. Carlos gets drilled, stabbed, and cut open. Security guard gets his throat slit. Boy, they never learn when they see Tiffany. We have Dr. Foley, who gets stomped 8 times. Ashley, who gets drilled off screen. Multiple Malcolm, who gets drilled straight through the head. Man, I wish that was in 3D. And, last but not least, Chucky number 3, who gets his head stomped after a gun is pulled out of his chest. And, on to favorite kill, which I have 2 on this one. Dr. Foley gets stomped, and Multiple Malcolm is drilled through the head. So let's get started on Dr. Foley. The guy was a douche, a grade A douche, who basically raped Nica while she was hypnotized. Thank God Chucky was there to stop some of the last 2 attempts. And basically, Chucky takes over Nica's body, and we get a amazing magic act where she pulls herself out of the straitjacket that the doc has her in, and basically the dumbass decides to put the red shoes he bought her on her, and due to being knocked out, he's a bit woozy, and she stomps his head in about 3 times, and my God, this is one of the parts that almost made me puke in this movie. I mean, the look of the good doctor's jaw and how bad it looks, where his skull is cracked, you can see some pieces of that, and just all the blood leaking out. It's like watching a pumpkin get smashed. Think back to the guy I believe it was the father in the 2018 Halloween movie where he got smashed. This is 100 times worse. We actually get to see the after effect, and it's just so gory. So thank you to whoever did the makeup. And next we have Multiple Malcolm, which best line after a kill in my book. I can still feel him in my head! Drill. And it was such a nice place to visit. Oh my God. Best line in this movie by far. And just I'm pretty sure most of you already know what I'm gonna say. It's the drill coming through the eye. It's just so gross, especially seeing the eye basically leak out fluid and blood as it's basically popping like a balloon filled with water. From a sense, Chucky did actually go into his head, I'd have to say. But he was such an annoying character, always. I get he's got multiple personality disorder, but it was getting a bit annoying, so thank you, Chucky, for drilling into his head and putting an end to his disorder. For good. On to least favorite kill, where we actually have on this, Angela dies from blood loss. I mean, we don't even get to it was basically get an idea stolen by Chucky from Nica, who was trying to kill herself before Chucky could do it to take away his glory. But Chucky sews her up, and all we get to see of Angela getting her wrist slit was the slit and a pool of blood that said Chucky did it. Basically, Chucky's trying to frame Nica once again, and it just felt a bit tasteless. And plus, a lot of you are probably going to whine. It's because it's kind of introducing suicide to people. It's making light of suicide. But no, I don't take suicide so lightly. I just feel this was a little tasteless. And a very bad way to kill her. I mean, I can see why Chucky killed her. I mean, she's annoying as hell. We don't know what the hell is wrong with her exactly. She may have amnesia, she may have dementia, we don't know. But another annoying character, and Chucky could have done so much better. I mean, come on, Chucky. You shot nails into a guy's head, call back to Bride of Chucky, and you literally, God, beat the shit out of a teacher with a ruler until she died. I mean, come on, you could have done a little better. But, on to goriest kill, which for me, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you are going to disagree, I actually had a hard time figuring this out. But for me, by a split decision, it has to be Mandy loses her spine. I mean, I was against putting this on as the goriest kill. I actually wanted to put Claire as it due to the little callback to Bride of Chucky with the air tank hitting the glass and cutting her head off, similar to what Tiffany did, but I had to give it to Madeline, who basically, she was so accepting of this, but Chucky just did it in one of the most disturbing ways. He reaches into her like a lot of teens would know. It looks like he's going to make her throw up or something like that, but no. He reaches all the way down, and we actually get to see him slowly rip the top of her spinal cord out. And it's just, you get to see all the fluid, the shape of it, but and then we watch her, I mean, as soon as Nurse Angela comes back in, we watch that Chucky's arm is literally, Chucky 2 actually, is literally, his arm is shoved all the way down her throat to make it look like she choked herself or killed herself with Chucky's arm. But no, Chucky ripped out her spine and it was a bit gory. I mean, look at that fucking strength on that doll. And I'm surprised with how short his arm is that he could reach all the way down there. I've got nothing else to say on that. On to the facts. We have a box office of $2 million. We have Tony Gardner return to create Chucky. Well, Chucky's in this movie. The trading juicy fruit scene is actually a reference to the one that flew over the cuckoo's nest juicy fruit scene in that movie. Tiffany references Bride of Chucky when she says, "A true classic never goes out of style," as she's talking to Nica, possessed by Chucky. The film was leaked on Twitter and YouTube 2 weeks before it was released, and actually, Don Machioni replied to both leakers. Really, I mean, enjoy that you just ruined a whole movie for everyone. I hope you guys fucking feel bad. You fucked up leaking that movie out. You think you were doing a good job, but no. You just ruined it for a lot of people. Chucky compared one of the other dolls to Hannibal Lecter because Don Machioni worked on Hannibal, well, the last 2 seasons before it got canceled. Actually, no. 2 of the episodes of the last 2 seasons. During production, the dolls were nicknamed Buzzcut, Ragamuffin, Edwardian, and Evil Dead. I'm pretty sure you guys can figure out pretty well which is which. Andy now suffers from PTSD. Carlos was based on a friend of Don Machioni who was a gay nurse. And that's it. So, on to my opinion. Okay. It was a good movie, had pretty good deaths, had a good story. I mean, it's a bit of a recycling from an idea they had for Child's Play 3 that couldn't be done due to a budget cut, or that they didn't have enough in the budget to do an army of Chuckies, which is pretty sad. But we got this. I mean, a lot of people don't like it because it's a short movie, but for a direct-to-DVD slasher film, it's really good. I like the plot with Nica, how she's trying to figure out what Chucky's trying to do to her, how he's fucking with her, and she's trying to protect everyone into mental hospital, but no one understands her, except for Multiple Malcolm and Carlos, the wonderful gay nurse, who was a huge character in this that I actually liked. And was actually sad he died, but he did get a perfect death in this movie that a lot of people have agreed was their favorite. The idea of 3 Chuckies was actually pretty fucking cool. I mean, triple the power. No wait, triple the dolls, triple the power. I mean, imagine what else Chucky could have done if he kept the army of the dolls. Which, sadly, one of them died by Andy, which also contributed to a very badass scene where we actually get to see Andy pull a badass move pretty much similar to the first movie. It's the first time we've seen badass Andy in years. I love the scene at the end where we get Kyle back in her famed hat that she wore in Child's Play 2. And we had a very good variation of characters in this movie, or variety. And the makeup was pretty good. I mean, the makeup on Smashed Chucky, Smashed Dr. Foley, the guts coming out of Carlos, the decapitation with the glass on Claire, and the spine. All really good props and makeup done by the makeup team. I mean, other than they could have done more and it could have been a lot faster. I mean, we got Tiffany, but she was only in it for, like, I'd say 10 minutes for 2 scenes. And I wish we'd gotten a sequel, or I hope we get a sequel to this movie right after the remake. I mean, we've got four killers on the loose now. We've got Tiffany in her human body. In Jennifer Tilly's body. We've got Tiffany in the Tiffany doll. We've got Charles Lee Ray back in his daughter's body. Well, Nica's body. And we've got... what was it? Oh, and we've got the last Chucky doll, which is sitting in the mental hospital. So, I'm very excited if we ever get a sequel. So, I'm giving it a 9 out of 10, and especially for the look and the accent they give Nica in the end of the movie. Very New Jersey-like, and she really does look like her father. Now, I did promise you guys a bit of an origin on the hat, and an origin on why I actually watch horror movies. I keep on saying that my very first was Saw and Final Destination, but actually, my first wasn't really a horror movie. It was the very first Indiana Jones movie. My grandfather had me watch it, and the ending scene where we see everyone getting their face melted and basically their souls stolen was the one thing that really got me into horror. I loved the makeup, I loved the look of the dying soldiers, and I started thinking, what else is out there? So then I started watching horror movies. And the hat, it's basically, my friend gave it to me, and I decided to add it to my wardrobe for the movies when I started. Basically, it makes me feel pretty high up and pretty adventurous, I guess you could say. I put it in my character, and it's a bit of an idea I came up with due to my love of the Indiana Jones movies, my love of a lot of Harrison Ford's movies, and a lot of Mafia movies. So, I decided, why not a fedora? Might as well make it a part of my costume, and our YouTube cover, and again, it was a gift from a friend, a very dear friend, who's been with me for years. So, that's the origin of my hat, and why I watch horror movies, because of the makeup, and the gore, but also the story. That's why I also like the Indiana Jones movies. They've got a lot of story. And I hope one day to actually review those on this channel, if you guys will let us, or at least watch if we do it. So yeah, me and Derek will be doing our next series, Wrong Turn, which you guys voted for heavily, despite also the others who voted for Hatchet, which most likely will end up doing that after this series. So yeah, we'll catch you guys next week with Wrong Turn 1, and have a good, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment, and, I guess I'm doing the ending line. Look out. There may be more than one doll in your closet, and they may all be possessed. And don't mess with a bitch being possessed by a doll. Good night, goodbye, and have a great night, ladies and gentlemen. and sleep tight.